Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review of Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 6, called Dark Side of the Honeymoon. At this point, this episode should have just been called Alyssa and Her Lips. So we start off with the couples waking up on day 5 of marriage. Chris done said him and Alyssa have been distant, but she still wants him to act husbandly. And I'm just like, you don't have to act nothing to her because you owe her nothing at this point, Chris. But we'll get into more of them later on. Lindsay and Mark, they wake up in bed together, and I was just like, did y'all make up and stuff? So Mark lets us know, I guess the night prior, they sat down and talked in the middle of the night, and they made up and went to bed together. So that's cool, I guess. So him and Mark and Lindsay, they're having breakfast together. And Mark says grace before they eat, which I thought was very nice, very sweet as a Christian myself. And he asked Lindsay what she thought about religion and all that stuff because she allowed him to say grace. So she's open to that. She grew up religious and doesn't mind going to any type of church for when they have kids and stuff as a family. But as when they get older, they can decide whether or not they want to continue doing the church or not. So I'm like, okay, makes sense, Lindsay. And then they talk about how many kids they want. So Lindsay's okay with having 1, 2, or 4 or more, but she does not want 3 kids. And if they have twins, they're done. Like that's it. They have twins. That ain't no coming back from that. That's it. So it looks like Mark is kind of open to that and is okay with that. So listen, if he likes it, that's great. We're gonna move on to Elijah and Catina. They go horseback riding, and Katina's nervous, and she's talking about she's not an animal person. Listen, you're not the first person that's not an animal person, Catina. You're not gonna be the last person that's not an animal person. So that's fine. So she was nervous, but kudos to her for still getting on the horse and going horseback riding with her husband. Now, throughout the ride, Elijah Wan, I guess, he probably going to say he was putting her through another test because she just was not here for it. The horse is going one way. I guess she wanted the horse to go a different way. And the horse that Elijah Wan was on, I guess that was the leader, so to speak. So her horse is kind of like taking Elijah Wan's horse lead and whatever. So the fact that the horse is going every which type of way and it's not like on a steady just trail to Katina's liking, so she's getting nervous, and Elijah Wan's just kind of like, oh, that's fine, just keep going, and she's just like, I'm gonna need you to shut the F up. She didn't say that word for word, I'm just paraphrasing, but she's like very uncomfortable, and at this point Elijah Wan, he's like laughing. Katina's like, it's not funny. Elijah Wan lets us know in the confessional that pretty much, listen, he ain't gonna stop living his life just because his wife is not on board. He's still gonna live his life the way he wanna live it. And I'm just like, okay, I can, on one point, Elijah Wan, yes, still live your life, but in this moment where you guys are working together as a team and doing an activity together, you gotta support them. You're not the first person, Elijah Wan, who's done this. You've seen Ryan last season with Brett when she was like, I don't like it. And he was just like, oh, just look at it. Listen, you guys got to understand, and we'll see with Steve and Noy moving forward. But if your significant other is uncomfortable with doing something, to get them comfortable is not to be like, oh my gosh, just get over it. If they're uncomfortable, you got to help them through it. Because you got to think, what about your fears? What if somebody were just to tell you, man, get over it, just do it? You're not going to like that either. So as cliche and as elementary school as this, what I'm about to say is, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you don't want to be treated in that way when you're in an uncomfortable position, why would you treat that Elijah Wan, please. But anywho, he was getting a little annoyed with her, and then in turn, she got annoyed with his ass. So they go sit down and talk. And he explains to her that he likes to push. He likes to push people so they can get out of their comfort zone. And while Catina understands what he was trying to get at, she's also explaining to him that's annoying and that's not the way to go about things, just as I just said 10 seconds ago. So he said he gonna work on it. We gonna see if that really is the case. No. But we gonna move on to Steve and Noy. They go nature seeing and whatnot, whatever. They go swimming and he teaches her how to float, or attempts to teach her how to float. But I guess a fish done bit his toe. So that was the end of that. And I'm just like, Noy, you don't know how to float, girl. So anywho, in the confessional, before we move on from this scene, Noy talking about, she didn't say this word for word. I'm just gonna paraphrase what she was trying to say. She falling in love. She falling hard, like harder than hard, like falling to the ground, breaking some bones hard for homeboy Steve No Jobs, and it was looking like she was getting emotional in the confessional, and I'm just like, no, you better cry again. We get to Alyssa and her lips and Chris. Now, Pastor Cal lets us know in the confessional that clearly this was done against Alyssa's will. She didn't want to do this activity, but they kind of forced her, saying, you better get your ass on that damn tennis court, play some tennis with Chris's ass. You getting paid to do this shit. You better get your ass out there. It's just playing tennis. Y'all don't gotta kiss, make love, get your ass on the tennis court if you want this check. If you don't want to get fined at 50K, get your ass on that court. So she got her ass on that court, playing tennis with Chris. I guess it seems to go well, you know. Chris talking about he's still hopeful and shit, and I'm just like, for what? Why? For why? Why, Chris? Why you still even, for what's the purpose? Why are we still doing this, Chris? Chris, I got an issue with you, bro. Like, I'm tired of hearing you say you still hopeful and shit, and I'm tired of Alyssa keep saying she a good person when we all know she ain't. Even Alyssa probably knows she ain't no good person, but she gotta, try to finesse the game, even though the game is already blown up. Ain't nothing to finesse at this point. But she gets sunburned and shit. You can see the outline of her bathing suit from the day before, because I guess she doesn't know what sunscreen is. But they sit down to talk, because he asked her how she's feeling. She was like, oh, it's just a little warm out here, but it's okay. And he's like, oh, we could go sit down and talk. So she looking disgusted, like, ew, I don't want to sit down and talk to you. We see what she done said last episode. So they sit down to talk, and he wants to talk about, the process of moving in together, because their trip in San Juan, Puerto Rico, is about to be over. So he wants to know, okay, how's this going to go when we move in together and whatnot. So she's just like, she still doesn't feel comfortable living with homeboy, sleeping in the same room as homeboy. So I guess she wants to move into the apartment alone. Now, I didn't write down what Chris said exactly that ticked her off, but she was talking into the point of, oh, it's very rude that you think you're just going to move in, like you're insinuating that you're going to be moving into the apartment by yourself and I have no say and I can't move into the apartment. And then Chris just like, no, if you want to move into the apartment, that's fine. I'm not opposing you to move into the apartment. So you know how Alyssa do. She want to get some hissy fit just to start an argument, just so she could be away from homeboy. So she gets upset. She's like, yes, you're being disrespectful. You're saying something that's not what is, like, you're not understanding where I'm coming from or what I'm trying to say. Think you could just move into the apartment. I just can't move into the apartment at all. So, I'm going to walk away from this conversation for like the upteenth time, and I'm still going to do it for like 5 more billion times more in this one episode, in this one day. So I'm not talking to you anymore. Gets up, walks away. Producers go chase her ass down. Now listen, I watch plenty of reviews, because sometimes I'll be like, am I tripping for the way I be thinking? I watch plenty of reviews. If you have a person that you be watching on here of Married at First Sight, I probably watch them too. Everybody just like, why is the producers like why are they giving this girl like so much patience, like she's a baby or something. I'm like, seeing them literally go after this girl. A producer is filming a producer going after this girl. I'm just like, nah, I know y'all ain't falling for this, Karen. Would you do the same if it was a black girl? I'm just saying, that's a real question I have. But they go after her to see what's going on, and she just complaining that she just feels robbed of the whole experience, and she's not understanding why Chris is the way he is, and she just starts acting like a brat. She just says it's not fair that she has to move in with Chris in order to move into the apartment. And I'm just like, that's the whole that's how this works. Like, why do you think you could move in by yourself? Unless you're gonna lease the apartment for 12 months or 6 months or 1 month. Oh, what about you leasing? Listen, the producers, Lifetime is paying for this damn apartment for 2 months. If you wanna be with your friends on this damn show, okay, the other girls on this damn show, why don't you rent and lease an apartment for 2 months by yourself, Alyssa, with your name on it? Because, listen, Lifetime ain't paying for you to live by yourself for 2 months in an apartment when this show is called Married at First Sight. Not Unmatchables. Married at First Sight. So, married is a pair, it's a couple. Who are you married to? Chris. So, who gonna be moving into that apartment with you is Chris. What? Why are you acting so brand new and entitled just because of the fact that you're so disgusted by Chris that you think the rules is gonna change for you? You're not the first to try to pull this BS. You just the worst to ever do it out of all 14 seasons. But yeah, she has a little hissy fit and stuff, and she's just so annoyed, so upset, she's crying, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, boo-hoo, you damn stupid whore. And Chris is talking with a producer. I don't know what the hell they were talking about, to be honest. I'm trying to figure out what the hell he pointing to the sky and shit. I'm trying to figure out what he talking about. And then here go Alyssa's ass talking about, like, just look at his hand gestures. Like, he's so aggressive. A producer was like, he's just making hand gestures. Yeah, but look, it's just so aggressive. The nigga is pointing to the fucking sky. What he talking about? I don't know. I don't get no aggressiveness from what he was pointing. Listen, let's be honest. I looked at him point to the damn sky, and I'm just like, he must be talking about astrology or some shit. This nigga, he a nerd, okay? This nigga, this gon' calls, for goodness sakes. And she won't talk about these aggressives. Let's say your chin is aggressive. Atrociously aggressive. I'm concerned for my safety when I look at your chin, Alyssa. But we want to talk about talk about freaking the sky and astrology and whatever. It's aggressive. We're going to move on. We'll get back to her later. Mark got an issue with his damn landlord. Talking about it's a mother figure to him and shit. About, she been blowing him up left and right, ruining the damn honeymoon. And I'm just like, Mark, why are you not muting this? If they're calling you every 3 seconds, granted, we're going to find out later what the issue is, but to the point they're calling you all day, all night and stuff, they don't got no opening and closing hour. No, F that. You on a vacation. Free. You on vacation. You can't mute that person. I understand he probably need his phone on just in case there's something going on with his grandma and his mama. I get that. This lady, you can't tell me with the phone. He probably got an iPhone too. You tell me you can't mute the person or something? You can silence a specific person on your contact list. I mean, I got Samsung, but I'm pretty sure iPhone do the same thing. So, Mark, but was a point of that. We move on to the chocolate couples, okay? The sexy chocolate couples. hanging together at the beach. It gets a little awkward because, they're asking each other how things going. So Michael and Jasmine, they kind of go tit for tat and explaining that, they're Jasmine wants to say she sees things both ways, whereas Michael only sees things one way, and he says it's kind of the opposite. He sees things both ways, she sees it one way, and they kind of go tit for tat in that aspect. I'm just like, y'all both need to stop. Y'all both annoying at this point. Jasmina, I'm always gonna say I was riding so hard for you, episode 1, but girl, you doing the most. Michael, you doing the most too. But I feel like you try and put more effort in Jasmina's ass at this point. So I guess I rock with you 60% and Jasmina 40%. That's so sad to already say episode damn 6 when I said I was gonna ride for Jasmina so hard. But Jasmina, you just doing both of y'all doing a little too much. But we move on to Elijah and Catina, and he just talking about he needs to stop pushing his wife. Michael tells us in a confessional that Elijah is like an alpha male and all that shit. Like, we already knew that, Michael. Thank you for letting us know, but we already knew that. And, he better be careful before it gets to be too much. And I'm just like, Michael, it's kind of already too late. Katina already seen that a mile away at the gym last week. And she seen it today with the horseback riding. So, that's her husband. So she got to figure that out. We move on to Mark and Lindsay. They get couples massages and stuff. We find out that the issue going on with Mark's landlord / mother figure, whatever the situation, Mrs. Robinson thing going on with between them two, he got bed bugs in his apartment and stuff, and the landlord done changed the lease, saying he can't have no cats there no more and shit. And Lindsay's so upset and so pissed off of her man and his situation. And she probably already peeped game the way the landlord and stuff be calling him all types of days and nights and stuff, and trying to change the lease. So she already knew what was up. So she's like, F that. You gonna take off work Monday. You gonna move in with me. You gonna move to my house. We're gonna have all 5 cats. She's not gonna get rid of her 2 cats. They're gonna have all 5 cats. It's gonna be fine, cool, collected, and they'll do a trial run at the damn apartment they're gonna get from Lifetime for 2 months. And Mark is pretty much so appreciative of her for that. But it also feels weird because he's used to taking care of others and not others taking care of him. So that was sweet and whatever. Lindsay gonna stick by her man and, defend her man. That's so, I appreciate that about Lindsay. And I'm like, Lindsay, that was very sweet. You trying to change my mind about you, because the last couple episodes, I'm like, Lindsay, what we doing here? And I wasn't feeling Lindsay at all, but she doing all right. This episode, she did all right. Mark was proud of her. I was proud of her. Maybe half of America might be proud of her. But, Lindsay, if you continue on this path, you'll be great this rest of the season. Okay? But we're going to move on. Chris calls his sister. Talk about what been going on. The sister told him pretty much at the end of the day, listen, she didn't say this word for word. I'm just about to paraphrase. Hang up the white flag, bro. It's over. Just be done. Why are you still trying to fight this thing? She over it. You need to be over it too. He don't give no answer. He just like, maybe you're right. It ain't no maybe you're right. Chris, just be done. Finito. We get to Alyssa on her lips. She vents into the producer, crying her Karen tears, her entitlement ass tears, saying she's sick of crying and so sick of trying and being a good person because she's such a good person. Listen, anybody who hasn't watched the episode yet, even though I'm pretty sure you already watched the episode if you're watching this review, take a shot for every time she says in this episode that she's a good person. And tell me how drunk you get, because I really want to know. She's such a good person. Oh my gosh. And the producers ask her, do you want to talk to Chris? She says, no, I hate him. Sounds like a little fucking 5-year-old. I hate him. He's an asshole. Why does he think he can move into the apartment and I can't? I want to hang out with my friends too. You got friends at your own house, bitch. They know where you live. Your real friends, the one that lying to Chris's face saying to give you time and shit. Those are the friends you need to hang out with. You need to hang out with your mama too and let them know why y'all lying to Chris saying I'm gonna take time when you know I ain't gonna take no time other than at the altar. That's who you need to talk to. You don't need to talk to Jasmina, Catina, Lindsay, or Noy or Nosy. No, because that's a whole nother situation. Right? But you don't need to talk to them. You got that number at this point, I'm sure. You could hang out with them from the comfort of your own house that you pay a lease for. Unless your mama and daddy paying that for you too. Girl, bye. But she goes off on this whole tangent. Keeps talking about she's a good person. And if she doesn't come off that way on camera, she gonna be pissed. And I'm like, girl, who you trying to threaten? Girl, you... Please. Better get your ass off my screen. But, no, the producer gonna keep her on screen. I don't know why they want to do this to us. This is a traumatic experience for us as America. I'm traumatized. I want to sue. But, being so dramatic, but she want to say she not being dramatic. And I'm like, yes, girl, you are. And the producer telling her she need to figure it out. She's saying not today. And, one of the producers was just like, well, you need to do it soon because it's almost move-in day. And I'm like, okay, you could be saying this to her because, some people on Twitter was congratulating the producers for telling her to her face. But I'm just like, Alyssa's the type of person, she gonna take what you say in one ear and put it out the other, unless if it's something to pretty much go with what she's saying. So you just wasted your breath, producer, at that point. We move on to the next day, I guess. Alyssa sits down with Jasmina and Catina and explains her side. Excuse me. She says she's not blaming for the she's not blaming... Girl, can you ever talk? She's not blaming Chris for the situation, but Chris is blaming her for the situation. And I'm just like, all these undertones that Alyssa says throughout this whole episode, I'm like, that's low-key, Heike, your guilty conscience, Alyssa, that you fucking up. But you're not going to admit you fucking up because you're the entitled Karen that never does nothing wrong. And all you have to do is put all your dry-ass tea works, because you don't cry the past 4 or 5 days. So you have no more fake tears left to cry. So you're trying to get any type of sympathy from any type of body to the best of your ability, whether it's producers, whether it's people in the cast, probably random Joe Schmoes out on the street of San Juan, Puerto Rico. And at this point, they may give you some sympathy right then and there because you're a Karen. But as far as America and myself, we do not give a flying fadoodle cake fuck about your feelings, because you treating this man like dog poo-poo for these past 6 episodes, and you probably still gonna continue it on the next episode. So at this point, listen, I could care less about you. I hope when you get home, your dog done shitted all over that damn house. I hope the dog shitted your dog shitted on your damn pillow. And I hope it was like straight white, virgin bleached white, and you can't get that stain out no more. But yeah, she telling Catina and Jasmina, it's not her fault because it's never her fault, And she's put all her effort in just as everyone else, and his family was saying all these trash things about him, so it made her not like him. So Catina's like, you can't take those things to heart. You got to take them at face value. That everybody's gonna say something about everyone, but you just got to figure out yourself and put in the effort. And then if something happens where they say, oh, that's what he was doing, then you could put like in your head, like, okay, I can see what they're saying. I can see what they're talking about now. Catina trying to be nice and Alyssa wasn't trying to hear none of that. And she said she tried, and they had many conversations, which they did not. And she just rather the experts tell her that they didn't have a match for her. And I'm just like, That's the only truthful thing you said thus far. You are definitely unmatchable, Alyssa. And yes, the experts should have told you you had no matches. You are unmatchable. But, the experts and the producer want drama, so that's why they brought you on the show. So you just do lifetime Loki Hikey, Hikey Loki. That yeah, the defamation of character because they knew better than to bring your ass on this damn show. That's it. That's up to you. Okay, don't try to sue us because we just viewing this and putting our opinions out there in the world. But the producers they chose you. You came on the show anyway, and acted a fool. But they chose you knowing you probably wasn't a good pick to begin with. Anywho, I'm not gonna. Okay, Jasmina saying, she ain't believing what Alyssa's saying. She's like, she doesn't think Alyssa's trying for shit. She didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm just like, and you probably recognize that, Jasmina, because you trying, but you ain't trying really either in your relationship, in your marriage. So, take your own advice too. We're gonna move on to Chris. He talking with Mark and Lindsay, explains what done happened, and Lindsay said Chris is probably the person that at least Alyssa needs, but not that Alyssa wants. And Alyssa is probably going to regret it later on down in life. And I'm like, nah, she's not really going to regret not liking Chris. I was about to say Mark. But she probably is just going to feel so hurt and cry more Karen tears that America is like dogging her so bad. Like, even her worst enemy doesn't treat her like this. So that's probably all that's gonna happen, Lindsay. Not that she's gonna regret not being with Chris. Y'all just try to make Chris feel good about himself. But at the end of the day, Chris, you'll find somebody. Just find a female in the disc golf league and stuff. I'm pretty sure she'll especially you do the vice president or something of that league. She really gonna be looking for you. Find a female on the team. And if there's no females on the team, well then find a girl buying her own house that you being her realtor for. What else don't say? Oh, Mark gives Chris a lot of credit for his patience in this whole process thus far. Chris talking about he don't want to give up yet. And I'm just like, my guy, come on, please. What? Even Mark's ass talking about a confessional. Like, at some point, you gotta let it go, bro. And I'm just like, thank you, Mark. Why didn't you tell him this face to face instead of the confessional? Because at this point, his sister done told him. Mark saying it in the confessional. America done telling his ass. Chris, what is going on? You can't be this desperate. You cannot be this desperate. I understand you want this marriage for life, Chris. But at this point, with her, we're gonna get more into what he done said later on about the 1%, 0%. We'll move on. Lindsay and Mark, they go kite flying and shit. That's cute. Jasmina and Michael, they go nature scene. They sit down to talk, and Michael gives a little story about him being bullied on the bus at school and shit when he was like 6 and something, 3, 9 or something. Okay, cool. She laughing and shit. He trying to engrave their initials on the little rock that they're on, but he couldn't really do it. So then they decided to go in the water. She's like, she's willing to go in the water as long as he don't be trying to wet her and shit. He's like, he not gonna do that. That's cool, fine, whatever. Water only come up to the ankle, so there's not much to splash anyway, Jasmina. But okay, you got your hair done did. I understand. I probably wouldn't even get in the water if I didn't expect my hair to get wet in the first place. But you know what? You attempted, so that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. Michael said this is the first time he's seen Jasmina smile since the wedding day. So I'm like, okay, that's cute. But we get Jasmina saying she's still hesitant, but she's trying. And I'm like, you're coasting by. You're not really trying. You're just coasting by because you're still giving Michael a judgmental look, as if like you'd rather be somewhere else. And granted, I understand that you guys are still coming up off multiple disagreements and arguments, so to speak. But at the same time, what relationship is not going to have arguments and disagreements? You got to learn how to move forward. You can't just harper on that, because at the point that's going to ruin the whole experience for you, Jasmina. So I understand you're a no nonsense type of person, which I am too, so to speak. But at the same time, I'm still learning too. I'm still, I'm still new to the game too in my marriage. So, but it's just the fact of not harboring on things and not letting it linger, because at this point you're letting it affect the rest of the honeymoon. You're trying, but you're not trying as hard as I think you should be trying. But I mean, I seen the preview for next episode too, and that kind of concerns me. But I just wish we could see these aggressive and yelling moments that she claims there is. I'm not trying to downplay what she experienced, but at the same time, we get Michael saying she don't cut him off, and she didn't cut him off. So I just want to see vice versa, how he's talking to her, to see if she's being over dramatic, or if there's a real underlying issue that needs to be addressed. But we gonna move on. All the couples get together to sit down for dinner, and they talk about having kids and whatnot. Steve said he wants 2, maybe possible 3. Noah trying to tell him, oh no, it's gonna be 3. It's gonna be 3. Noah, it's not just a you thing, it's a 2 thing. Okay, because it's gonna be his kids too. If y'all have kids together, if y'all last past these 2 months and stuff, and he gets a job, it's gonna be a mutual conversation that you guys decide how many kids you guys want. It's not just no, we having 3 kids and that's that. Where you gonna get the kids from, Noy? If he only want to give you 2 squirts of sperm, and you get 2 kids from that, and he doesn't want to give you no more sperm, you can't force the man to do that. That's something you're gonna have to discuss. Like, babe, I really would like to have 3 kids, and hopefully we can work towards that. And you have to ask him, why does he not want 3 kids? He says he's a guy who likes to travel, so he probably thinks 2 is enough, more than enough, to still have a life with them and still travel. I don't know. That's something you guys got to discuss. But I just didn't like the fact that she was like, oh no, it's 3. And that's it. If that's the case, you could go to the sperm bank and get your 3 kids by yourself, Noi. Anyway, we move on, because that's not even really the main issue of this damn dinner. So Mark asks the question about what issues of communications have they overcome thus far in the week. Michael admits that he needs to work on his communication. Everybody patted him on the back for the most part, because he was honest and acknowledged that he does have an issue. Elijah once said he's learning that there's no I in we, and he can't keep pushing his wife. So that's cool. Who else said something? I feel like everybody kind of went around the table, but we don't really care. Alyssa and Chris didn't really have nothing to say, because Lindsay was like, what about you guys? They had nothing to say, but Chris tells us in the confessional, all he's waiting for before he's like throws the towel in is for Alyssa to admit out loud to everyone that she's done, so he can move on. And I'm like, why? You're not the first person to say this, Chris. There's been people on other seasons who said that. I think Brett said that, something similar to that last season as well. Why are we waiting for someone else to say something before we decide we're done? Why can't we just hold our head up high and be like, you know what? I'm better than this situation. I'm done. I'm omitting myself from this equation. Why are we waiting for someone else to throw in the flag before we do? Chris, you know you better than this shit. And the fact that everybody could recognize it but you, it's an issue with me. You're a grown-ass man. Ain't gonna let this sunburnt hoe tell you when you could leave? Man. Noah asked them about what they're going to do in regards to moving into the apartment. Alyssa decides on her own, because Chris said he had no notion of this prior to when she said it. He going to move in the first half of the 2 months by himself. Then he's gonna move out and she gonna move in for the second half of the 2 months. So they could both be a part of this this experiment, and because they love everybody and want to still just be a part of the group activities and whatnot. Chris is just like, say what now? Oh, Lindsay wanted to laugh so bad. She was just like, because she's just hiding her mouth the whole time. She's just like, I'm gonna need some alcohol. And I'm like, Lindsay, no. You can't have alcohol because you know why? You get alcohol, Lindsay, you gonna say some shit. And that's probably why you kept your composure this whole dinner. It's because you didn't have alcohol. So keep it up, like Mark done said, which we're gonna get to later on in the episode. Okay, so we're moving back on to Chris and Alyssa's ass and her lips. So he's like, this is the first time he's hearing that, and he's not interested in that idea because he didn't come here for the friends. He said, I'm sorry, I love you guys, but I'm not here for you. I'm here for my marriage. And he's all in or all out. Goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And he continues to explain, like, listen, we're not divorced parents where you get this half of the summer, I get this other half of the summer. No. Like, he's in the marriage for a lifetime. So he said he can't keep putting himself out there if he's going to keep getting 0% back. And I'm just like, nigga, even 1%, I'm not going to keep putting myself out there if you're giving me 1%. And 1% is what? Having a conversation with me? Being in the same room as me? No, not even 1%. Chris, you freaking desperate ass nigga. For her? Did she? What were the girls you had before? Because this is not making no sense to me, Chris. She must be the Beyonce of all the girls you done dated or something. And even then, her attitude ain't turning you off yet? Because it sure is turning off mine. And this is just all camera. I can only imagine how the hell she done look in person. Sorry. I'm talking about sorry. Oh, because she's such a good person. Sorry. So, he just keep talking about his worth, kind of, so to speak. And Alyssa done said in her little confessional that Chris trying to make her look bad. I'm just like, ain't nobody making you look bad, bitch, but yourself at this point. Not even at this point. In general. In total. Oh, in the beginning when he sent you a letter. Oh my gosh. He knew exactly what I wanted to hear. But then after that, now it's just like, we have nothing in common. Bitch, please. So, Chris just asked Alyssa, what she want to do? Lindsay wants to laugh so bad because it keeps panning over to Lindsay and she just she's trying to keep her composure, but she wants to laugh so bad. And Lindsay just thinks Alyssa is full of shit. She says that. I don't know if she said a word for word. I'm going to just say I'm paraphrasing just in case. So Alyssa cries again. Take a shot for every time she says she's a good person, and take a shot for every time she cries on this damn show. How drunk you would be at this point, episode 6. So she just said, this hasn't been easy for me, even though she's not really crying because ain't no tears coming out. Chris still looking for an answer. She tried to give a little spiel, and Chris is looking for an answer. He's like, that's not really answering my question. And I'm just like, okay, Chris, you better get it together. So he a little annoyed, and Alyssa says she doesn't want to talk in front of everyone. Chris doesn't understand why not. Jasmine and Catina want to come to Alyssa's defense saying, well, you have to respect that if she doesn't want to say that in person. And I'm just like, first off, no. What we not finna do is this. No. Catina and Jasmina, no. I don't need y'all talking to defend this chick. This chick done embarrassed this nigga in front of the whole fucking nation. The country. People from different countries are watching this shit. So, the whole continent, let me say this, the whole fucking continent at this point, embarrassing this nigga. But she don't want to have the conversation in front of the group whether or not she even wants to try. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. She could dog shit talk this nigga, talking about you hate him and he's physically not your type, and the way his hand gestures is is so aggressive. Talking about he trying to make you look like the bad person, but you're making, in reality, you're making him look like the bad person. Like he's such a terrible person. But y'all want to defend her for not wanting to at least just be upfront and say if she want to actually put in the effort to try and make a marriage out of this situation that she signed up for. Catina and Jasmina, stay out of this. This has nothing to do with you guys at this point, because all you guys are doing at this point is enabling her. So she's gonna look at you guys like her friends back home and like her mama. No, we don't need that. Like, you should have been like Nora and not said a damn word. But Elijah, I wish he would have said this out loud in front of the group, but he says it to the confessional, saying that he feels for Chris and thinks Alyssa is on BS, just like the rest of America does, and myself as well. And I don't know if Chris said this, but I just wrote this in my notes. I think he said he's going to try to continue to try, and I'm just like, yeah, por qué? Why? No, don't do this. But we move on. The dinner's over at that point. Lindsay and Mark, they talk post-dinner. Mark is proud that Lindsay didn't do anything or say anything when Alyssa called her out, because when she was trying to laugh, Alyssa was just like, Lindsay, please don't do that when I'm talking. And Lindsay was like, I'm not even doing anything. And I'm just like, oh. And it stopped there. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's great, Lindsay. Keep it up. We move on to Elijah and Catina talking post-dinner. And Katina's talking about she's happy that they discussed it in front of everyone. And I'm just like, but yet you not happy that she couldn't even say if she wanted to pursue a relationship with him in front of everyone? Or at least try to give 1 fucking percent that Chris, that's all it takes for Chris. That's how low his fucking standards is. He just needs 1% and he'll give 100. Dumbass. Chris, you dumb. But, yeah, whatever. Elijah once said, Chris is what love is, and he's embarrassing himself for it. For whole Alyssa, who ain't even listening to what the man is saying. You are so right, Elijah. Embarrassing himself for sure, because all he needs from any woman at this point is just 1% for him to give 100. Dumb ass. We move on to Alyssa and Chris talking post dinner. And I'm just like, we not done with this girl yet? No, we not. So Alyssa talking about she wants to be a part of the experience, of the experiment, and move into the apartment, just not with Chris. So Chris tells us in the confessional, it's funny that she's changing her words, because now all she takes from this whole situation is an experience, an experiment, and nothing of like the process of them being married and together. So he's like, can I just ask you a few questions? And she's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, at any point in this whole situation, have you even brought up to me what the issue is, and if you want me to change, and what things I could change to make this whole thing better for us? She said, yes, she has. She's brought it up plenty of times. And he was like, when? She can't name it. And she don't want to have that conversation right now. And of course that annoys Chris, and he's just like, is there any potential for their relationship? She's just like, no, she don't want to have the conversation right now, and they could talk about it another time. So he was like, we've been delaying this for how long now? When is going to be the right time to talk about it? She's just like, well, we go back to Boston tomorrow, so maybe next week. And I'm just like, bitch, what? Girl, because you can't say nothing. You need a whole week to figure up what's wrong with him for you to have that discussion of what he can work on. But yeah, you could tell producers how much he's an asshole and he's aggressive and all that stuff right out the head, but you don't even know that for sure, because all he got to do is point to a fucking sky, and his hand gestures are aggressive. No, what's aggressive, Alyssa, is the words I'm spewing out my mouth right now about your ass. That's aggressive. Chris pointing to a fucking sun is not aggressive. But he just wants to know, like, is she in it or not? And She says she doesn't want to talk about that right now, and Chris is getting annoyed. He's getting frustrated because all she keeps doing is delaying answers, not being truthfully and honest and upfront with him. So she's getting upset because he just wants an answer. And she's like, I can't talk about that right now. I don't want to discuss it out in the open with everyone. He's like, you don't want to discuss it with a group. You don't want to discuss it on camera with the producers. And you don't even want to discuss it just the two of us behind closed doors. So Chris is frustrated, and I'm just like, Chris, at this point, why are you still trying? Like, this is what I'm talking about. She's not even giving you 1%. You said all you need is 1%. She's not even giving you 1%, so why are you still here? Why? I'm getting frustrated with you, Chris. So the producers come to fucking Alyssa's defense, which it still irritates me how people are still coming to her defense at this point, saying, okay, can you give her some time? She's not ready right now. Can you give her some time? I'm just like, producers, y'all could go to hell too. Alyssa, you could go to hell. And Chris is annoyed. I'm like, Chris, you the one who must love this because you still here. I would have been left if I was in your position. So Chris wants to say she's not here for the right reasons, which we all know at this point. And Alyssa gets upset. She cries and says she's a fucking good person for the umpteenth time. And she gets up and walks away for the umpteenth time. And Chris still there. He should have went home that night, blocked lifetime phone calls, blocked Alyssa, and just took the $50,000 fine. Someone posted on Twitter saying he could have created a GoFundMe and we would have all chipped in to pay for him to get out this contract. Like he could pay his little fine and just be on his way. I would have donated $1. I ain't got no 50K, you know what I'm saying? But I would have donated $1. Yeah. I would have helped him out. He just need $49,999 more dollars, more people to donate $1, and he would have got his 50K to pay lifetime. But then again, he's a realtor, so you know some realtors they making bank, so he probably already got the money anyway to begin with. But it is what it is. We move on to day 7 of marriage. The couple's waking up. Lindsay doesn't like that Mark is a live, laugh, love guy. Because I guess she asked, does he have like signs in his house? He said, yeah. She was like, no, you're a live, laugh, love guy. I don't like that. He's like, well, I'm not that type of guy. I don't, like, he tried to renege on that and try to say something else. But if you got that in the house, that's, what is the big deal about him having signs from Home Goods and all that shit? So, I got them in my house. You can't see it in here, but I got 1, 2, 3 signs from like Ross, DD's up in here. It's not even this is my husband's studio, you know. But that's beside the point, okay? So this is decoration, Lindsay. What the hell your house look like? I'm looking forward to seeing it next week. And I bet I see one sign, no one poster thing, canvas, whatever you want to call it, from No Home Goods, TJ Maxx, and all that stuff. Anywho, Elijah and Catina, they hope that they're still the same at home like they were at the honeymoon and hope they don't argue about some petty shit. From what Elijah once said. We gonna find out. It seemed like they're gonna have arguments from the previews, but okay. Moving on to Michael and Jasmina. He's talking about he wakes up at 4 a.m. and his alarm wakes him up, so if that's okay with her. She's like, I hope it's not the annoying sound noise that, at 4 a.m. He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, we've evolved from that, Michael. We have alarms on our phones. There's a lot of different alarms that you can get on Amazon. There's one that kind of I haven't bought it, but I was interested in it. I know this is like a side note. But there's like one that when it gets closer to your alarm, it brightens up the light on that the alarm device, whatever you want to call it, to the point where it seems like it's like sunny in your room when it's really dark. And there's like soft, soothing music for alarms. Now, Michael, please throw that 1997 alarm. No, you don't have to go throw it away. Donate it to Goodwill. Let somebody else buy it as an antique. But we move on to Noy and Steve. They're excited to start their lives together in Boston. That's cute, whatever. Back to Alyssa and Chris's mess. She's saying her marriage is a mess. Chris saying the experts didn't give Alyssa what she was looking for, but the experts gave him what he was looking for. And I'm just like, you was looking for Alyssa? A girl like Alyssa? Maybe looks wise before you knew her nasty ass attitude, but you really they gave you what you were looking for. This is what you were looking for, Chris? Someone who don't even give not even 1%? I thought you said you needed 1%. She's not even giving you 1%. So what does that say about you? But last thing I put on my nose is Alyssa said this isn't her fault. This is all your fault and some of Chris. This is where the episode ends. My brain hurts from watching this damn episode. This was the Alyssa episode at this point. Like I said, this episode should have been called Alyssa and Her Lips. I don't know. You know, if I were a smoker at this point, I would have already smoked like 2 Newport Longs at this point. Watching this damn episode. And this is only episode 6. I was hoping I wouldn't see Alyssa and Chris next episode, but they're gonna try to talk to Pastor Cal. We're gonna see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for watching through this horrendous of an episode. I'll see you guys next week. Let me know what you guys thought. That was a lot of Alyssa and Her Lips to digest. But anyway, see you guys next week. Bye.